want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's easy to sum it up. We're talking about practice.
Because it's about as casual as it gets. What's the problem now?
That's a clown question, bro.
I think we ought to send a beat in at least.
World champions!
Start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
Philadelphia, looking as only you can look. Woo!
Here we go.
And good afternoon, or I should say good evening, everybody, to another edition of the Philly Podcast. My name is Eric Perugini. I am here once again with Chris Lahiff and Pat Houseman, and we have a fun show to talk tonight. I don't know if anyone's been listening to Sports Talk or anything today, but everyone's favorite basketball player in Philadelphia seems to be, I guess you could say, maybe ending his holdout with the Sixers and realizing that he needs to make those mortgage payments. So, gentlemen, what's new?
What's going on? I'm going to let Pat lead off with this.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for this one.
And if anyone knows Pat, and his love of Ben Simmons is about as much as you love that Eric shows for Ben.
Oh, well, I have a feeling that this is going to be the equivalent of Patrick's dismay for Uncle Joe from Willy Wonka. So I can't wait for this one.
Grandpa Joe, yes.
Grandpa Joe, that's it. Grandpa Joe.
Stop. It's Grandpa Joe, Jenny, and then Rose from Titanic.
Yeah, all three of them are just awful, horrible people. And the worst characters in movie history as far as I'm concerned. So Ben Simmons has to tuck his tail and come back to Philadelphia because literally nobody in the league wants him. Fantastic. I can't wait till he comes here. I'm not somebody who goes to a lot of regular season games. I watch the games from home, but I will be buying tickets this year just so I can go and boo him. I cannot stand that guy. He's the biggest definition of a baby I've ever seen from a professional athlete. You created such a problem by the way you play that you made yourself untradeable, yet you decided you were going to try to hold out and try to get pushed basically to any team of your choosing, and nobody wanted you. It's embarrassing. Like, he should be totally embarrassed, not only how he acted, but how he plays on the court, that now nobody in the league, even the Pistons, probably don't want him, or at least don't want to give up anything for him. He's one of those players that has generational talent, and because he's lazy, he'll never live up to his potential. And I can deal with somebody who's just not good enough to play at that level, but somebody with that kind of ability that's just deciding not to play is the most frustrating thing. And that's why I just can't stand the guy. I don't know if it's out of fear. I don't know if it's out of laziness. I don't know if it's a combination of both. But part of me is mad that he is coming back. But part of me is kind of laughing, too, that he's going to have to show his face in this town, play in front of the fans who hate him at this point. And I think he needs to play. He needs to be able to deal with the situation that he's caused. And he needs to hear it from all these fans that he's really pissed off. And I think that that's actually good. For a while, he was saying that, he wasn't ever even going to play here. So if he got traded to Golden State, anytime Golden State came to Philly, he wasn't going to play in Philly. Or, if he got traded somewhere in the East, let's say Washington, he wasn't going to ever play in any of the games here, for the divisional, for the division games that were here. That's just pathetic. That's just cowardly. And nobody in Philadelphia can respect that. That's not the type of player that we ever endear ourselves to. He never wanted to be here. He doesn't even sniff, whatever type of mentality Philadelphians have. He's not even in the ballpark there of understanding it. There's guys who have been here for 5 minutes and get more of it than he does. He's done everything to make himself, feel alienated. He's done everything to get the criticism that he's deserved. And a lot of times it's been deflected away from him. I think the fan base has been nicer to him in a lot of ways than they should have. And now finally the gloves are off. All the people that were in the Ben Simmons camp, 5-6 months ago now have turned on him. So he's going to be playing in front of 40,000 people every night, or 32,000 people every night that can't stand his guts. So good luck with that, kid. Good luck.
Yeah. In the same token, though, I hope you're going to boo him, deservedly so. but you can't root against him. He's playing for us. He's our starting point guard. As much as we hate him, if he goes out there and he shoots a three, he shoots a jumper, we're going to support him. Like, are we not? We're not going to cheer for him.
I want him to make some threes. This is my thing. I want him to make some threes so his ass becomes more marketable and we can get him the hell out of town. That's what I'm cheering for.
So all right. So here's my thing. Perfect scenario. Can't get a trade for Ben Simmons. We're stuck with him all season. Sixers win the championship. Are we back on the Ben Simmons, man? What is the difference between now and then?
The difference between, and here's the thing. So the difference between it is, if they win the championship, obviously he made himself into a better player, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was.
Yeah, so he made himself into a better player. So if he makes himself into a better player, then we can actually his value's high, and we need to try him. I mean, my thing is too is the guy's not known as a worker. So even if he has a good season this year, who's to say that next year he just decides he's going to come back out and not shoot again, or just decide he's going to not really work out, or he's content with himself, or he's satisfied. Worst thing you could have in the world is a satisfied athlete because they don't want to work anymore.
Well, that's the whole problem with him. He's already satisfied. He's
correct.
I mean, he's on record many times like I am who I am. You know, like I'm an all-star. You know, those are his comments and his train of thought. So, actually, I will not root for him. I don't have to root for him. To me, he's not my player. I don't care what jersey he's wearing. He's here by default right now. He basically is. I have no care for the guy. Every time he touches that ball, if I'm in that stadium, I'm booing that guy. He does not want to be here. So no, I will not root for him. I just won't.
And I remember Phillies fans couldn't stand Cole Hamels for a while because they thought he was the California guy. That guy's the California guy. All he wants to do is be out there, be around Hollywood, be dating, doing this, doing that. Like, that's what I think about California. Like, get lost, dude. Go live out there. You know, go play out there. Go play for the Sacramento Kings. Do whatever you got to do. Get yourself marketable enough so that we can trade your ass and get you out of here as quickly as possible. Well, I can't stand. There's never been an athlete that hits me to the core. I actually defended him a lot this year up until he saw, you know, that awesome rim protector in what's his name? I put the play out of my head. Who the hell did he thought was going to block the shot that he passed up to Thibault?
Trae Young.
Trae Young. Great rim protector. Yeah, that's a guy I'm afraid of going into the post against. I'm 6'10". You know, I'm going to pass it up. That was it. That was it. I could never ever root for the guy again after he's passing up a dunk against Trae Young. I wouldn't pass the ball up against Trae Young in the post, let alone a guy who's 6'10" and can just, you know, jump a foot and a half and dunk that ball. It's a joke. That guy is an absolute joke.
The other thing that I'm really annoyed at with him is he's come up with now 5 different excuses in this whole time to not be here. You know, and then, you know, 5 different excuses. How can I root for someone like that? He complained about basically us, the fans. He's complained about ownership. He went and complained about Embiid. How? How can you... That, to me, that's the last straw. That guy went out there with like a busted knee and still showed more heart than him on his worst day.
And I can't tolerate somebody who doesn't think that anything like he has an issue with management. He has an issue with the coach. He has an issue with his teammates. He has an issue with the fans. At what point do you realize that you're the problem? I've never seen anybody in my entire life in all sports that's more delusional than this guy, that he's done absolutely nothing to exacerbate this problem, that he won't shoot during games, or that he won't. I mean, he basically pissed himself in every fourth quarter of that Hawks series. It was a joke. I've never seen somebody who just folded up like a piece of paper that late in games. I've seen people choke. That was like next level choking. Next level, to the point where he was so afraid to shoot a foul shot that he passed up a dunk. That would have been the easiest dunk of his career. He's an absolute joke. There's nothing that's likable about this guy. He's a spoiled brat. he's a conceited, a conceited athlete who's satisfied with what he's done so far. He hasn't done squat. And the first chance he gets, he's out of here. So in 4 years, he's out of here. So if he wins a championship this year, hey, guess what? Some team's going to want him for the next 3 seasons. His stock's high. Get him out. Get him out. Bring somebody else in. That's going to be the best chance we have to be able to get somebody else in here that can actually play.
What you got, Chris?
I'm not rooting against the guy. Obviously, everyone has their own feelings. You know, I don't think we should boo our own guys. I don't think we should boo our own team, regardless. But that's you. Listen, you guys pay your money. You guys have the right to boo. I've never booed. I've been pissed, but I've never been booed. But we're so mad at a guy that people are like, I can't wait to pay all this money to boo this man. And yet this fan base, not the Sixers fan base, this Philadelphia fan base welcomed back Odubel Herrera, who stinks, who absolutely stinks, and is quite possibly was the 3rd worst baseball player on this team. And we're going to boo Ben Simmons, who I'm not saying doesn't deserve it, but we have morons who were going to pay money to boo him, but didn't boo Odubel Herrera. Supported the Phillies for 162 games. I never rooted for Odubel, but I never rooted against him because he was on my favorite baseball team. So I'm not going to root against Ben Simmons.
Well, Odubel Herrera didn't roast his teammates. Odubel Herrera didn't roast his.
No, he just smacks women around and didn't get charged with it. But I'm sorry. I don't care if you throw your teammate under the bus. It happens in sports.
But when you throw the fans under the bus too, that's when the fans take it personal. Because he's pointing his fingers at everybody else but himself. And like, look, I get the Odubel Herrera thing. I don't like the guy one bit. I don't think the Phillies should have bought him back. I really don't think the Phillies, once they did, and the PR thing was out there, hey, it's done at this point. I didn't agree with it. I thought that was wrong. I didn't think the Eagles should have bought Vic in. I think a lot of these guys get second chances. They don't deserve it. But this guy thumbed his nose like he's better than us. Like, oh, I don't want to go back to Philadelphia. I want to stay out in California. No, bud, you're done. Like, that's it. Like, you badmouth the city, you badmouth your teammates, you badmouth your coach, you badmouth the ownership, you badmouth everybody that would listen to you and said it wasn't your fault when it was 100% your fault. You're done. You're dead to this fan base. I've never seen a player be worse as far as for making himself look worse to a fan base than that guy.
But here's the thing. While we sit there and say he threw teammates under the bus, you never heard him say it. You heard his camp say it. Now, for me, Ben Simmons has got to come out and he's got to fire Clutch Sports. Rich Paul is really starting to look like he's really not a good agent. He's getting sued by Nerlens Noel, and now this debacle. There was a story because he represents Maxey, and he was like, "Don't even worry about the charities in Philadelphia because you're not going to be there in 3 years." So while Ben Simmons gets 98.9% of the blame, we got to look at Clutch Sports and see. Did Ben Simmons really say that about Embiid? Like, as a fan, you can't sit there and say, and look, like, I'm sorry, Ben Simmons, let me phrase that. Ben Simmons can't look in the mirror and go, Joel Embiid messed up my game. Like, he can't. He realistically can't look in the mirror without laughing at himself. Because it's literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard, that Joel Embiid hurt Ben Simmons' game. So while I get your point, and, Ben Simmons said this about the city, Ben Simmons said this about the fans, you never heard him actually say it. Was it his camp putting it out there? Absolutely. If you heard it come from his mouth, for me, I would look at it differently. But I'm looking at it as it's all hearsay.
I would rather hear it from his mouth.
Hearsay. Yeah,
I'd rather hear from his mouth because it just shows how big of a coward he is. He's sending somebody else out.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me with that?
That's sports. Like that's like just like the one situation last year. How everyone said he couldn't get along with Doug Peterson. You never heard it. They can't put it out there. There's all these things. It's all hearsay. Again,
but
I'm
like
not
people.
saying.
I think it was Shaq. There's been other people that have said like his camp's leaked stuff out too that they're saying, hey, you might want to consider going back to Philly. Hey, you might want to consider this. And he's basically saying, I pay you guys. You guys tell them what I want to say and what I want to hear, what I want out there. And I heard the camp's kind of just like, oh, like we don't want to put this out there, but he's telling us we have to put this out there. He's terrible. Like, he is terrible to deal with. And it goes back to the family. Like, I remember watching that thing when he was at LSU and how coddled he was, how baby he was. It's a joke. All his life, he has been coddled and he's been babied. And it's happening now. They're doing the same thing. He's telling them, you work for me. You go put this out there. I'm not putting it out there. You put it out there. I think they know it's a dumpster fire. But, again, they work for him. They have to do it.
I'm sorry. I can't go with this. We didn't hear him actually say it. You know what we saw? You know what we heard? We heard the people booing his play on the court. We saw him disappear. His play is his words. We heard him twice take no responsibility at the end of a season. So don't give me this BS that just because we didn't hear him say it, that we didn't hear it. Stop it. Stop it. That's being an apologist for a piece of crap player that doesn't take accountability for how bad he is in the NBA, for being coddled in the NBA. Stop it. Stop being a freaking homer and tell him to take responsibility. You're not going to boo him. You're a freaking homer, Chris. You piss me off when you talk about Ben Simmons. Damn it.
Hold on. So here's the thing. Why am I booing my player?
Because he sucks. That's why. Because he absolutely sucks.
Then
that's why.
Then you know what? Spend the money, go to the stadium, and then make
if there was
sure
ever a player in
boo
Philadelphia
Aduba
that
Herrera.
deserves it.
Sure
That
you
People
deserves
spend the
this
money
guy.
to go see this guy play, and he shoves it up our ass. But no, let's not boo him just because he plays in Philadelphia. That's the biggest horseshit excuse ever for fans to say.
I said I'm not.
You're an idiot for not booing him. You're not supporting your own fan base.
Have you met our
You're not
fan base?
supporting your own
dumbest fan base in sports.
Yeah, I've met the fan base, and you're one of the freaking idiots.
They're the dumbest
Jesus
fan base
Christ.
in sports.
You know, so hold on. So this
Yeah,
guy
and you're
is
representing him right now because you don't
So
want
are
to boo
you.
him.
I'm
He's
going
been
to pay
u-
$300.
No, I'm telling it how it is. You don't want to boo him because you don't want to hurt his little feelings anymore.
say
Who the
that.
hell cares?
I didn't say about hurting his feelings.
That's what it sounds like. That's exactly what it
I don't
sounds
boo my
like.
home team. I don't
But
boo
this
my
guy
home
needs to
team.
be
When they deserve it, yes, you should.
You guys are fucking.
if you're gonna break that rule for anybody, this is the guy to do it. He's used to hearing people tell him whatever he wants to hear. So now, guess what? You're gonna sit there, you're gonna listen to 40,000 people boo you, and you're not gonna hear what you want to hear. And that's the opportunity for the fans to get out there and tell him because he's not on Twitter.
The next thing that's going to happen.
Right.
No, I'll tell you the next thing that's going to happen. Everybody will boo him. He'll get traded, and then this guy in the top right corner is going to be like, "We ran another player out of the city." That's exactly what's going to freaking happen. And you know what? I'm going to be like, "Well, when is it okay?" Exactly. He's made it very clear. He doesn't have to sit there and write on a piece of paper and go, "I hate Philadelphia." He doesn't have to do it.
Right.
What he's done on the court and what he has said off the court after a season is basically over, where he's taking no accountability, is all you need to know. It's all you need to know.
This is a blood and guts town. We want guys that want to be able to play. We want guys that want to win. This guy wants to play so he can live his lifestyle. That's it. That's all. That's what basketball is to him. Basketball is a means for him to go live the rich lifestyle. That's it. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be a basketball player. He wants to go live out in California and in the off season sit by the pool with models and whatever. And that's your thing. That's your thing. But go do that in some other town. It don't work here. I don't want it. I don't want it on my team. Goodbye. I would take a box of basketballs for him. Well,
all right. I'm gonna end this part of the show because it's absolute horse crap. So I'm going to lean right into what's going on next. We're going to head into some Flyers hockey since it's a new season. You know, we need to calm it down a little bit, get cool it down with some puck talk. And with that, I'm going to announce and bring in from Flyers Nitty Gritty, our good friend, Frank James. He's a good buddy of ours. And gentlemen, hello. And Frank, how are you tonight, my man? You came in at a good time.
I thought I was the hot takes and cupcakes, man.
Hot takes and cupcakes.
Hey, Frank, just remember, you know, the Philadelphia Flyers fan base booed Carter Hart last year.
Yeah, and you know what?
They did.
You're right.
And he looks better, right?
Philadelphia fan base was the key to your words. Can I comment on the topic, though?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Everyone
So-
has their own opinion.